So here's the story. I was a senior in high school, St. Thomas Aquinas, Overland Park, Kansas, class of 1997. And a group of buddies were driving senior spring break to go to Colorado to ski. Denver was maybe, I don't know, 8-hour drive or something like that. And we had gotten up early and had driven out there, and I had driven my dad's, was it the Buick Regal or the Oldsmobile? Some red sedan Oldsmobile. And I had done the first leg, and we had driven on I-70 from Kansas City. We were almost at the Colorado border. So I don't know, we'd gone maybe 5 hours. And I switched, and my buddy drove after that.
How many guys are in the car with you?
3. Oh. So there was 3 or 4 cars. There was one in front, us, maybe 1 or 2 behind. I don't remember how many. And, you know, senior year, I was looking at colleges, and so we traded. I was in the back seat, and I asked him to get me this bag I had left in the front seat so I could look at the college book and obsessively read over Notre Dame and whatever other colleges I was applying to see where I was going to go to school in. And he took his eyes off the road for a minute to grab the bag, and the car had gone to the side of the road a little bit. We were going straight, and we were kind of half on gravel and half on the road. Might have been okay, but he overcorrected and he jerked the wheel, and so the car started fishtailing back and forth. And I remember all of this, you know, like when that happened, it was totally one of those like slow motion things like you see in the movies, like totally was like that, bizarrely, because like it's like I was frozen, and I knew, I was like, oh shit, you know, like something's gonna happen, you know. So it fishtails a few times, and then we're skidding perpendicular on the road.
Oh my goodness!
Like this, like we were going fast, like, I mean, you're driving out there probably going 70 or 80, so it's going like this, and the car probably eventually would have come to a stop.
Yeah.
But there was a half pipe that water would drain down. Because the car was partially off the road, the wheel hit that half pipe, and the car flipped. Oh my goodness. So I remember being frozen in the car and seeing all of this happening. And God, I'm even getting the little jeebies imagining it again. But so I'm like frozen in the back seat. I was going to take a nap. I didn't have my seatbelt on. Yeah. Car's skidding back and forth. And the next thing I know is I see out the windows sky, grass, sky, and then it's black. And then the next thing I know, I wake up in this field, and I like look around, and I'm not even thinking what happened. All I'm thinking is get up, and I can't get up. Like trying to do a push-up, and I'm like stuck.
Oh, you're on your face.
I'm like face down in the grass. And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm in some kind of shock. I'm not really feeling a lot, you know, like I'm just out of it. Yeah. And what had happened was my dad kind of had later figured this out, but what had happened was the car had, and I pieced the story from my friends that were there too, but the car had flipped, and the first time it rolled, it had smashed the back window out. And then the second time, I was ejected out the back, and then the car rolled on top of me. And you could see on my brown corduroys, I wore brown corduroys in high school. You could see on my brown corduroys this red streak of car paint that was kind of around the thighs and the hips. But what had happened was the car had crushed my pelvis. So I had a pelvic fracture in 3 different places. Wow. I think 2 on the side here, and then this guy on the left, the iliac crest was broken, like that big bone was crushed. So I'm in this field, and I don't know what's going on. One of my friends comes over, and he's like, I remember this, but I could like see that, you know, they were freaking out. And he's like, don't move.
Yeah.
You know, just don't move. I don't know. My memory is like I'm just like cold in this field for an hour. There were various, you know, people. I don't know if I believe in angels, but there were people that helped.